everyone, welcome to Venusianscorp Astrology and Tarot. If you're new here, my name is Venusianscorp, and I talk about all things related to astrology and tarot on my channel. And if you like this video, we're going to be talking about the moon in the 11th house today. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Your likes and subscriptions help me, help my videos stay relevant in the YouTube algorithm, and it also helps motivate me to churn out more content for you, my lovely subscribers. And also, if you'd like to book a reading with me, you can drop me a message on email. The link is in the description box below. So let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about moon in the 11th house. So let's talk about the 11th house first. The 11th house represents your social network, your friend circle, the people that you socialize with on a regular basis. It is also the house of financial gains, and it's the traditional ruler of Aquarius. The 11th house is ruled by Aquarius traditionally, and it does rule humanitarian causes, it rules social networks, like I said, and friendships and things like that. The moon represents your emotions, it's your subconscious mind, it's a very personal part of you that not a lot of people get to know about. It's only people who are very close to you, your friends, your close friends, family, people like that who would know that side of you. And the moon also represents the mother, it represents nurturing, it represents your childhood as well. So, when you have the moon in the 11th house, let's talk about it a little bit because we're talking about the moon here. It represents your emotional comfort. What do you need to feel emotionally fulfilled in life? That is your moon. And when your moon is in the 11th house, you definitely rely on your social networks, your friendships to get a sense of emotional comfort on a day to day basis. So, friendships are very important to you. The people that you associate with or are friends with, those are very important to you. You actually feel emotionally safe when you have a good friendship circle around you. Now, because it's the 11th house, humanitarian causes may also be very, very important to you at an emotional level. Like, for example, striving for a social cause, doing something that helps humanity. Those things are very important to you. It's probably more important than a lot of people out there because it's your moon we're talking about. So you're emotionally driven to fulfill something that is going to help humanity as a whole. There may be a very strong need for you to belong or belong in a particular social circle or have friendships in life. You are definitely a very sociable person, the type of person who's very easy to get along with, and you may love to nurture your no, sorry, you may love to nurture your friendships as well. Like you are very sociable, like I said, and you may contribute to various social causes and help your community at large as well because this is the 11th house. It's a very Aquarian themed area that we're talking about. Now, because it's your moon here, you may also be quite sensitive to negative social influences. What I mean by that is because your emotional sense of security is so closely tied to the friendships that you keep and your social network, it's really important that you choose your friends wisely because it can have an adverse effect on you if you're not careful. Stay away from any kind of toxic friendships because this is the moon we're talking about. So there is a direct influence here on your emotional well being. So your friendships directly affect your state of emotional well being. So that is why I said it's really important for you to choose your friends wisely and stay away from any kind of toxic influences because that is quite likely with this placement. Especially because sometimes you may have this tremendous need for getting validation from your friends because your moon is resting in the 11th house here. So because it's so closely tied to your emotional comfort, you may become overly reliant on your social circle and friends for your own sense of emotional stability. And so it's really important to realize that your emotional stability needs to come from within yourself and not from an external factor like your friendship circle or your social circle. So, therefore, you need to be very careful that you maintain this balance. Try to focus more on your own self. Look to the fifth house, which is the opposite end of the axis, which is the Leo house. So look at your, focus on your own self, your artistic expressions, your creative hobbies, things like that. Try to reduce any over reliance on friendships. If you find that there is an imbalance like that, if you find yourself constantly seeking validation from friends, then it may be time to take a step back and reduce this kind of over reliance on your friendships or your social network. um you may be the kind of person who's very popular among your friends as well. I will say that because this is the 11th house here. It's usually connected with large social circles. And so, because it's your moon here, you may be the kind of person who's very, like I said, easy to get along with. You are a people person. You do like to work in teams. You're a team player, that kind of person. Because the 11th house is also related to financial gains, you may leverage your social networks, your contacts, and your friendships to achieve your life ambitions and gain material wealth. And usually, this is very successful when you have the moon in the 11th house, because um, it's directly connected to financial gains. So, when you leverage your social contacts, your social network, you will generally find that it leads to some kind of material gain in your life. Um, I do want to mention that the emotional dynamics with your friends, like the way you interact with your friends and things like that, that can have a changeable quality to it, because it's the moon we're talking about, and the moon waxes and wanes. It's a very changeable energy. So when we talk about the emotional dynamics with your friends, this can change on a day to day basis, in fact, and it may affect your social interactions as well. So sometimes you may find it quite challenging to balance your own individual emotional needs and sort of be able to manage that with the expectations from your social circle or the larger group of friends that you associate with. So, what I mean by that is, when we talk about social networks or friendships and things like that, like larger groups that we associate with, it's usually quite impersonal in nature. There's not a lot of emotional dynamics going on. It's very different from, let's say, a one to one interaction or a one-to-one connection, right? So that's what I mean. You may find that it's very difficult to balance your own individual emotional needs, and you can often lose focus on that when you're part of a larger group or a larger social circle, because, like I said, these are often very impersonal. So as a result of that, you may neglect your own emotional well-being, and you may prioritize what your friends or community needs. And if you are doing that over a period of time, over a long period of time, this can lead to a sense of isolation and neglecting your own emotional needs in the process. And the thing about the 11th house is because it's an Aquarian ruled house, you may place a lot of priority and importance to friendships. Like, you're a great friend to have in general. People love to turn to you in terms of crisis and things like that. But you may, like I said, you may neglect your own emotional well-being and prioritize what your friends need at the moment. So be sure that that doesn't happen on a regular basis. Take time out for yourself, and like I said, take more time out to focus on yourself and what you really need from an emotional perspective. Also, since you place so much, because you have the moon in the 11th house here, you may tend to place a lot of focus on broader social interactions rather than one on one connections. So, because that sense of belonging is so important to you, like, you may want to be a part of a circle so much because it's directly connected to your emotional fulfillment, right? So, there may be a very strong need within yourself to be a part of a broader social network, and not focus so much on one connection. So it can sometimes lead to neglecting your own individual authentic self, or like, you may sometimes feel like there's this loss of personal identity because you're always striving to be part of a larger group or a part of a larger group of friends. And like I said, sometimes you may cater to their emotional requirements more than your own. And so sometimes, if you're doing that over a period of time, it can lead to a loss of personal identity. So make sure that doesn't happen. Make sure that you're staying true to yourself, honoring your own authentic self, and make sure that you take time out for yourself. I think that's really important for the moon and 11th individual, because you spend so much time with your friends that sometimes you may forget to ask yourself who you are on the inside. What do you want? What are your emotional needs? And I think that's really important for someone with the moon in the 11th house. So, but overall, it's a great placement to have. I think, even in terms of material wealth, there's a lot that is in your favor because you likely already have a good circle of friends. Now, this is going to depend on the whole chart, of course. Like I always say, if your moon is debilitated or it has some aspects to it that challenge this placement, then it's going to affect your friendships or even your social circle. But in isolation, the moon in 11th individual generally has a good circle of friends. They have a good social network. They rely on them quite often, and they have friends who can help them out. Like, you have a good set of friends who can help you out of certain situations, and they can even help you out, when it comes to material gains. So it's a good placement, but like I said, it's important to balance your emotional needs with what your friends need, or what the people that you associate with need. And that's what I have for you. If you have the moon in 11th house and if you related to this video, definitely do give it the video a like or a thumbs up. It helps my videos stay relevant in the YouTube algorithm, and also, it motivates me to churn out more content for you, my lovely subscribers. Like I said, if you would like to book a reading with me, you can definitely drop me a message on email. The link is in the description box below. And that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.